Kings was kind of appropriate for a Volvo. Please don't drive off the road into the desert. I'm glad there are people watching, because if I do get stuck in the middle of a desert, if you could possibly call for help, that may be quite needed. Trying to read location information whilst... Okay, you live north of Austin. All I know about Austin is music. That's about it. Middle of nowhere. Yeah, almost everyone I know that lives in America lives in the middle of nowhere, apparently. I don't think anyone actually lives in any city. Most of my friends, when I lived in, well, just north of Seattle, all came from east of the mountains, so they all came from fairly sparsely populated, deserty type places, which you wouldn't think of in Washington State. That's quite sunny. I can't actually see anything, and the lights aren't going to help. Ow. Sunglasses. Michigan. Okay. Again, you'll have to forgive me, I'm in the UK, so my knowledge of America is limited to having done a degree in it for 4 years, which I've mostly forgotten now because I'm old and forgetful. Although I do live in the flat part of the UK, known as East Anglia, which is mainly farms. And it's basically flat between here, the sea, and then Holland. So I can kind of identify. It's about as close as you can get to that feeling of a wide open American view driving through East Anglia. It feels like I'm Red Dead Redemption. There's going to be a cowboy riding over a hill any second now. It looks really nice. I've forgotten how nice the scenery in this looks. It's a bugger to see anything, but it looks nice. So we got Michigan, Texas, and in my case, all over the UK. It's good, it's an international feel for my return to American Truck Sim. Oh, nice camper. To be honest, I'm still amazed anyone puts up with my gibberish and terrible driving. So I definitely appreciate your viewership. Oh, it gets worse when I play truck sims. At least when I'm doing iRacing or something like that, I've normally got something that I know about the track and the car, and there's normally some action to comment on. When I'm playing truck sims, it just descends into me rambling, mainly because otherwise we're all going to be sat here in silence, listening to the noise of a Volvo. Which would work for ASMR, but... Oh, thank you very much, Puck Girlie. Yeah, it's good to see people appreciate my gibberish. Why a Volvo? I don't know. I think basically because I started off in Euro Truck Simulator, and I picked a Volvo as my first truck in that, and I painted it bright pink, and had, I think I've got about 4 or 5 people working for my trucking company in that, all in bright pink trucks, because I figured, marketing, branding. How many times have you seen a massive great truck coming down the road that's bright pink? Not very often. If you did, you'd remember it. So Badger haulage, and that was pink. In this, I stuck with the Volvo because I quite like the idea of picking the European truck just to be different. But I have gone for this Vikings-inspired theme. Hello, Mr. Trucker. Hello. Oh. Basically, I like being different and awkward. Yeah, we all love Jeff the Volvo. I haven't actually named my truck here, though. I need something more American. Travis, maybe? If anyone can come up with a suitably American name for my truck, stick it in the chat. I'm not sure I can call a Volvo Peterbilt. That's going to get confusing. I think I have bought some Peterbilts in this. I'm pretty sure I've bought some of everything. I do like big American trucks. And you also like big American cars as well. Annoyingly, they actually hold an event every year near here called Truck Fest, where the developers of this game actually turn up, and they have lots of Mack and Peterbilt trucks and Kenworths and things. It's always quite good fun, but obviously at the moment it's on hold indefinitely. That's not the right gear at all. I got all excited. New Mexico. I thought it was in Oregon. No wonder I get confused and lost in this game. Right turn, okay. I guess I could name my truck Stanley, after the character in The Office. He has that same kind of, no-nonsense approach. A solid, reliable truck, driven by a complete idiot. Why is this saying go up? Okay, it's telling me to come off the slip road, to go back up. What the heck is going on with GPS? It's literally told me to come off the freeway, where I was quite happily driving along, to pull up at some red lights, to pull back onto the freeway again. It's just like one of those stories that you hear about where people have driven into a river because their sat-nav told them to drive through it. I'm carrying 3 trailers, this is no time to mess me around. Okay, if I find out I'm actually in New Mexico by mistake, I'm not going to be happy. Right, so I'm back on the freeway with the lowest speed limit ever. Please don't pull over on me. Good. A big Warbirds. Ah! Don't look at the chat just before traffic lights. Night Beast. That's quite cool. It sounds like the sort of band that would be playing in like an 80s metal club, which personally I like. I suspect I'm the only person in this that was actually alive in the early 80s. Just a guess. The Warrior. Yeah. Yeah, I could go The Warrior. Daryl. Yeah, that's a good call. That's another Office character. Right. So we got Night Beast and the Warrior, or Daryl. I have to say, they're all good suggestions. The Warrior. Ah, that's an 80s WWE wrestler. Like, I'm not going to be able to say that without thinking of the Ultimate Warrior. Night Beast is pretty cool. But it makes me think of a motorbike for some reason. Like a jet black Suzuki Hayabusa or a ZZR or something. I might nick that for when I'm playing something like GTA. Or I might just use it as a username somewhere. Because it is cool. I think Daryl might win though. You know, he worked his way up out of the warehouse at Dunder Mifflin, got himself a corner office. I'm only up to season 7 because I'm actually watching it at the moment in isolation, so no spoilers. Bone Crusher. Are you sure that's not a monster truck? See, I think the thing is, yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I've seen that name before. There's a monster truck somewhere. See, the thing is, you have to remember, like, as much as I love American culture, I'm English, so we can't do the whole boastful thing. You know, we don't go around going, I am the Bone Crusher. It's more like, hi, I don't know if you mind, but I've come to kind of crush your bones if that's okay. It's that kind of disarming thing. We're still violent, we're just much more polite before and afterwards. I think that's one of the things that really confused everyone when I lived in America. How much longer have I got? 1 hour and 20 in-game minutes, so about 3 minutes in real time. And whoa, Mr. Oh, see, I knew it. I knew I'd get distracted. Oh God, how am I going to do a U-turn with this lot? Oh, it's all gone wrong. Oh heck. Okay, I can go straight on. It's just going to take a bit longer. Okay, I'm going to do that. See, Black Magic in the UK is a box of chocolates. And not a particularly nice box of chocolates either. Yeah, it's that whole Atlantic thing. It's like me learning to say faucet rather than tap. And realising that pants in America and pants in the UK are slightly different things. Oh, well, I'm going to end up getting fined for not going to sleepy time before I get there. Damn it. Yeah, Blood Magic's not a bad name, it's just unfortunate that in the UK it's been kind of tarnished. You have to remember, my other truck is called Jeff. That gives you the kind of... See, you're going with something that sounds cool again. This is your mistake. Have I ever given the impression in the time you've been watching that I am in any way cool? Yeah, Bob. There we go. Now you're on brand. Yeah, see, instead of the judgment, it'd be more like, you know, the sigh. The slight disappointment. The slightly confused look. You know, that kind of thing. That's the kind of vibe you get here. What the hell is that horse up to? Did anyone else just see that? Just me? So I never really went much further south than Seattle, so I still need to go back to America and visit a lot more places, but are there really that many freaky roadside things? There are. Cool. Can you draw me a map of all the ones to find in Michigan? If so, I'll book a flight. Basically, next time I come to America, it's all about weird stuff and barbecue. That's pretty much why I'd be visiting. And I should have said barbecue because now I'm starving. Brilliant. Where's a truck stop? I need food. Yes, truck, I know I'm getting tired, but I'm in the middle of nowhere with a farm that looks like it might have murderers living there. There's the Devil's Den. I might regret asking this, but what the fudge is the Devil's Den? I'm guessing it's not like a, you know, den in a house where the devil has a snooker table and some comfy armchairs and a big TV. It has the devil, so that sounds quite interesting. Okay, a sinkhole. That's quite cool. We do have some of those over here. I like the way we've got the comparison of the Devil's Den, a really deep sinkhole, and the biggest ball of twine. Actually, I think I've got a solution here. Could we roll the biggest ball of twine into the really deep sinkhole? Be like giant golf. Anyone up for it? Or is that desecrating a national monument? All I can think of now is locating the world's biggest ball of twine and seeing if we can roll it into a big hole. It'd be like, what's the game? Katamari Damacy. See how many things we can collect on the way before we drop it in the hole. See, I actually have a, what? Red that was green! Chat, was that light green when I went? I'm pretty sure it was, and I'm pretty sure you can submit Twitch chat as witness accounts in court. Is anyone gonna stick up for me if it comes to me and being fined? No? No? No one? But I know I need to sleep, but I've got 3 trailers attached, you stupid game. And also, I'm in the middle of nowhere, and there's nowhere to stop. And I'm really bad at planning. Thank you, there we go. Didn't see anything. I mean, you could have said that it was green. So, you know, it's a bit non-committal. And what the hell is over there? Anyone? Is that a dam? Boat? Hangar? Not hangar. Boatyard? What the hell is it? Oh god, don't hit the lorry. Oh god. Okay, so I've got a really heavy load, and I've decided to come to a complete stop halfway up the first hill. It's not the best of plans. Skull Cave. That sounds quite cool. That sounds like the sort of place where you might find treasure. Arr, me hearties. It be in Skull Cave, it be. Except possibly sounding more like a pirate than that. I really hope I don't have to do any reversing with 3 trailers. I know I'm getting tired, you've told me. I've yawned. Stop nagging. Oh god, these are going to be tight corners. I don't like this at all. Why are people hanging out at 1:15 next to a railway yard in the middle of nowhere? That seems a little dodgy. I'm not sure I want to leave my 3 trailers of nuts here. Hopefully they're just workers. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay. Where should I place it? Okay, I can do that, I'm sure. Over there. No, I'm not going to skip it. I'm going to do the whole thing for the extra, like, 5 points. Because there's no way I can balls it up, is there? Thanks for being reassuring there, chat. Is that it? Hey! Look at that. I'm professional. Okay, that sounds interesting. The Felt Matterson. What's a Felt Matterson? What does it do? Where's it from? Inquiring minds need to know. Right, I'm going to do one more very short trip, and then I'm going to have to head off, unfortunately, because as much as I'm enjoying hanging out with you guys, it's about 1:30 here. So I really want to go south again, but I don't particularly want to go to Bend again. I've been there. Okay, that looks fun. Crawler tractor. So, JJ, what is the Felt Matterson? An old mansion with a... See, that sounds good. That's the sort of thing that I will quite happily read an article about and plan to visit sometime. I'm going to remember that one, the Felt Matterson. I've slept in was it a castle and a couple of allegedly haunted houses. Never actually seen anything. Various people in my family have had weird things happen to them, and I've had a couple of weird experiences, but... Yes. Yeah, I've seen quite a few horror films. I'd seen a fair number over the years, and then a few years ago, was it 2 years ago, my girlfriend moved in, and she is addicted to terrible, terrible B-movies. Like, you know the kind of horror films that you get on kind of early evening on the Horror Channel that have been made for about £5? Ah, right. So it's the real place for the Chainsaw Massacre. Right, got you. Okay, that would be quite scary, I can imagine. Unsettling. Also, probably not a good place to wander. Okay, this is getting terrifying. Both of you are now linked to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in one way or another. Is this where you're both going to message that you're actually stood outside my window right now? And if so, can you make sure that you brought food? Alright, what story can I come up with to match these tales of Texas Chainsaw Horror? Oh, sinkholes actually. So, where I grew up, in Kent, which is in the bottom right of England, not too far from London, I grew up on top of a big chalk hill. And underneath it, they had train tunnels, and they used to mine the chalk, and they also had brick pits as well. So, you know, wasn't anything to really think about. And I used to walk down the same road from school, and I was about 11 or 12, every night. And then my parents decided to tell me about the sinkhole that opened up. And it was down that road in, I think it was the 1960s. A giant sinkhole opened up, and a woman actually fell in. And the pram she was pushing with a child in was fine, and she vanished and was never seen again. They sent firemen down to see if they could find her, and no, it was too deep, and they didn't have long enough ropes, and that gone. And I had to walk down that road every day. And I used to think to myself, well, that was years ago, it's fine. And then my friend's got... Oh god, I've just wedged a trailer already. And then my friend's garden disappeared overnight. Literally went to bed, garden's there. Woke up in the morning, went to let the dog out to do its business. And their garden was about 200 foot down a hole. Yeah, sinkholes aren't that common in the UK, but there are some. And I appeared to live in the epicentre for the bloody things. On the subject of the train tunnel, one of my ancestors actually died in it when they were building it. Because they were doing some work on it when they were running the first few trains through, and unfortunately he didn't realise the train was coming and took his head off. So that's always a nice family memory. I mean, this was about 150 years before I was born, but still. Why am I not moving? Is it because I've wedged my trailer? Because I'm obviously so tired. Right, let's unwedge myself. Oh, where are you going, you donkey? Get out of the way. Yeah, in some ways, you guys are lucky I'm here, because my family history does resemble a kind of Victorian-era Darwin Awards. My absolute favourite is one of my ancestors was in a horse-drawn carriage. If you imagine kind of Dickens type affair. And he was in a place called Romney Marsh, because it's all soggy, boggy marshes. And the carriage alighted on a bridge, as I believe they did in those days. They didn't stop, they alighted. And he decided to get out and have a walk round, stretch his legs. Unfortunately, he got out the wrong side, fell straight in the marsh, and died. Family of geniuses. Yeah, see, now that's how to kill the chat. Tell amusing stories about your ancestors accidentally falling in a marsh. Guaranteed conversation starter. No, don't doze! Don't doze! Oh! Piss! I mean, darn. I've never actually... kept going in this game long enough to start actually falling asleep. That's quite worrying, and also I'm still chuffing miles away from the nearest place to actually stop. So we've got scary stories, and at any point my screen will go black and my truck will crash. Brilliant. Oh dear. And the search party's vanished as well. See, obviously it's quite tragic that the little boy fell in. But surely the search parties would have had sense not to fall in the great big hole, you would have thought. Like, did they not know there was a great big hole there? Oh god, oh god. Please wake up, wake up. Ah. I'm gonna keep going quite slowly until I can find somewhere to rest. Yeah, but if the little boy fell in the hole, surely they were searching in the hole. So, I mean, if they were going down in the hole, they'd be on a rope. So how did they manage to vanish? Because normally you have someone at the top of the rope. You don't just tie it and all of you go down. I might be overthinking this. Yeah, I wasn't expecting necessarily that to quite interrogate you on the exact history. I'm just always quite intrigued by stuff like that. It's that natural human curiosity of weird things that you can't quite explain. And also there's quite a lot of urban exploration, particularly around Kent, where I grew up. Because there's a lot of old military forts. So kind of from around the 13th, 14th century onwards. I mean, there's Rochester Castle that was built before Norman times. But there's a lot of kind of Napoleonic War forts, and there's actually one underground, or largely underground, fort called Fort Amherst, where a lot of the Napoleonic War prisoners were kept. So when the French were captured by the English, they were stuck basically in tunnels under this fort. And when you go down there, you can see all the graffiti from the prisoners from, 250 odd years ago, scratched into the walls, which is quite interesting and weird. Okay, anyone here know if I can turn right on a red light in Oregon? Well, let's find out. Apparently, yes. Cool, thank you, Jojo. I still can't quite figure out how the whole you can turn on some red lights but not others works. Maybe that's what they need to do. They should issue an American with every copy of this game. That'd help. Okay, I can finally stop myself from falling asleep at the wheel. Independent states. Okay. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! That did not go well. Turn. Okay, I'm going to stop the engine and sleep now. Yeah, that's the thing. Some states do it and some states don't. That's a confusing thing. I mean, I know the American system of governance is quite different to the UK because it's massively, massively bigger. And lots more stuff's at the federal level, but it's still really weird to have different traffic laws in the same country. I can't think of anywhere in Europe where that happens. I'm willing to be corrected, but I don't think there's anywhere. I love the fact someone that doesn't know how to drive is watching me on Twitch when all I do is play driving games, pretty much. Maybe I can start teaching you. Virtual driving lessons. $14, crikey. I had no idea my audience was in the prime of their lives, because I'm way past it. When my son actually gets his backside into gear and starts streaming, I can recommend his channel, because he'll actually be up to date with the current happenings. Yeah, see, when you get in the 40, 50 range, it gets very depressing to actually have to admit your age. Oh, train! Train! Big train. Big orange train. But yes, I am in my 40s. I was 30-something once. I vaguely remember it. I remember more of my 30s than my 20s. Most of my 20s were involving alcohol. I can't help getting distracted in this game. It's part of the fun. I don't always make a disappointed dad noise. And that was with myself more than anything. It's normally because I've just driven in the wrong direction for an hour. Yeah, seeing as I am the granddad here, or at least it feels like it now, I should probably pass on some wisdom. I think the only thing I can think of is that there's a secret about people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, etc., which is you don't actually feel like you're any older. Like, when I was young, I always felt like, when I get older, I'll reach a certain age, and then I'll understand how the world works and what happens, and everything will make sense, and it still doesn't. I still feel like I'm, 18 until a police officer calls me sir. Basically, adults are just teenagers that have to pay more bills every month. Okay, if I'm going to have the disappointed dad noise as my personal meme, I will try and record it at some point. And then you can pay a donation and hear it any time you like. How's that? Other people do comedy gifs and emojis and things. I'll just have a disappointed dad noise play. It does seem appropriate, because I can imagine most people, when they've been watching me stream, have that vague sense of disappointment. Oh, Kennewick and Pendleton. Those are proper American rural town names. Boston, yeah. Weirdly, I'm sure in a previous stream we were discussing Boston for some reason. And I can't remember exactly why. What was it? But weirdly, yes, a tea party. Why did that not spring to mind straight away? Yes, somehow we got onto the subject of the Boston Tea Party. Ah, I remember now. It was about visiting the UK and not throwing tea in the English Channel. Because that made more sense at the time. Mainly because I'm an Englishman who doesn't drink tea. Although, when my girlfriend's been poorly, I've been having to make some. That's a very big red square building. Yeah, I need something in my description to explain that I'm an Englishman who doesn't drink tea, I don't drink coffee, because hot drinks are for grown-ups, and I also don't understand cricket particularly well, and I'm terrible at playing it. I do, however, watch American football, and American wrestling, but apparently I'm meant to have grown out of that, but I'm not sure I actually will. Oh, no one needed that stop sign, did they? Nope, good. Yeah, I think pretty much all sports are cancelled. I know with motorsport, a lot of them are doing esports instead, which is quite cool. One of my friends is a racer in the Nürburgring endurance races in real life, and he was racing in iRacing on Sunday. Oh god, what have I hit? What a stupid place to put a roof of a building. Right in my way. Okay, so how am I meant to get it in the parking space when someone's put a bloody great building in the way? Oh, like that. Carefully. Yeah, I don't really do careful. I start careful, and then it all goes apart, and then I just keep crashing until something happens. It's like with first-person shooters and games like Rainbow Six and stuff. Me and my friends would always come up with a careful, stealthy plan. Or doing the heist in GTA. You know, we plan it out, we're careful, we're stealthy. And then after about 10 seconds, it's all gone to pot and we're just firing guns randomly at people. Careful is not something I'm familiar with. Well, I've made some money. So, let's see how many garages have I got any. So, ooh, I've got a garage in Phoenix that I can hire someone for. Because at the moment it's just a random woman in glasses driving a Peterbilt. Yeah, it is. Sadly, I'm really enjoying chatting with you guys, and hanging out, and I'm enjoying playing ATS again, but I do need to go to sleep in a minute, because sadly I'm still fortunately I'm still working at the moment, but it does mean I actually have to get up at a reasonable hour and actually do some work. Right, so what can we buy? I don't know if I bought any internationals yet. Buy online. So I can either go for the that's okay, the International Lone Star Day Cab, or the International, right, so that's a 6x4 as opposed to a 6x2. I don't know what difference that makes particularly. It is indeed 2 in the morning. I do tend to be a bit of a night owl. Sorry, were you saying I should buy it in yellow? You've just said yellow. Oh, right, the yellow one. Yeah, but I haven't got enough money for the yellow one. I'm poor. Tell you what. I'll compromise. There we go. Seeing as I can't afford the actual high-rise sleeper, I'll buy it in yellow, in honour of you, sir. Then I'll actually click the right button. Right, my newly bought truck is being delivered to Phoenix immediately. Now I need to find someone to drive it. Recruitment agency. Hire a driver. Yeah, so if it's only 9, that would be Eastern Standard Time? Or Central? Because Seattle was 8 hours difference, I think. Yeah, East. Yeah, I know my time zones vaguely. Right, so we've got Freya, Gertruda, Bastian, Marcel. I do like Lawrence's moustache. That looks like a proper old school truck driver tash. I'm not sure Carl there is really enjoying his cap. Yeah, it looks like he's wearing the cap, but he's not really enjoying it, whereas Thomas looks like he does enjoy his hat. That's Jay-Z. His career's obviously gone downhill if he's turned to truck driving. Jennifer looks like she's a school teacher. Susan teaches yoga and holistic therapy. And Irina was possibly... I don't know. She looks like you wouldn't want to upset her. So I shouldn't be too sarcastic, because I know my son was taking the mickey out of one of the photos of people, and then it was pointed out that everyone, or most of the photos, are actually of the development team, etc. Karen. I don't see a Karen. And yes, that dude's name is in fact Jay-Z. Hence my joke. I need to work on my delivery a bit more. Right, so far... Oh, the lady looks like it... Right, got you. Now I understand. That makes more sense. Also, I've never seen someone spell Suzanne with a Z unless it's double N-E. Interesting. I'm going to go with Arena. Hire driver, yes. I've lost Phoenix. There it is. You can have the yellow truck. JJ's truck. Boom. So, I have 6 garages, all almost full. Oh yeah, the old buffering excuse. I'll believe you. I now have 21 drivers. I'm working on the theory that if I hire female drivers, they're going to be more careful than the guys. That's been the theory so far. It hasn't always panned out that way. So we'll see how Irina does. If she turns out to be a terrible hire, I'm blaming you, JJ. So we've got International Lone Stars, we've got Kenworths, we've got a fair number of Peterbilts, and quite a few Volvos. I think I've covered pretty much all the bases. And after almost an hour and a half, it's time for me to head off. So thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure chatting to you both. I feel like I've picked up some new places to go and visit in America. So I did actually plan on coming back to visit not that long ago, because I was hoping to come over for a month and do a road trip, but had to postpone it. So you've given me some inspiration to think about it again, and I'll probably be on again possibly tomorrow, but certainly later in the week. I'll try and put a schedule on my profile some point in the next day or two. And if you need more driving stuff in the meantime, do feel free to check out onlineracedriver.com, the home of virtual motorsport. Because that's my website for driving games. I like driving. That's all. And I'll see you again soon. Thank you, and good night.